I think the big question for me now is, with all of the firepower of the United States, two major aircraft carrier groups, the largest, and that means dozens of ships and scores of planes. So the most powerful military in the Middle East, Israel, and the most powerful military ever assembled, the United States, are both now hitting Iran with a pincer movement. Do you think this is the end of the regime in Iran, one way or the other?
Look, as you very well know, John, the Iranian regime is not just the Ayatollah Khamenei, and it's not just the clerics. As powerful as they are in controlling the elections and the government and the military in Iran, it is absolutely embedded in the upper echelons of that society. And so decapitating the Iranian regime does not change the regime. At least it doesn't do it easily. This is a totalitarian regime. It maintains control through fear and violence and brutality, and we know that. We've known that for a very, very long time. And if you are a young Iranian male in particular, one of the very few ways that you can get ahead is to embed yourself in that regime as a member of the paramilitary forces or the military forces or in the government itself. We know that it's a corrupt regime, and so the way that people inside the top levels of the government, working down and down and down, the idea that you could actually completely restructure that is not likely. Not likely. I mean, as I say, you can't just decapitate the regime and expect that the people of Iran will come rushing back into the streets and be able to take government, because the government they control everything. They control the economy, they control imports, they control retail, they control the police, of course they control the prisons. They pretty much control everything, and it's a self-perpetuating structure.
With the young population in Iran wanting freedom, as we know, more than 70% of Iranians were not born in 1979, the so-called Islamic Revolution, when the Ayatollahs took over. And we know young women in their 20s and 30s have been driving this protest. We know it's been brutally put down, but we know that 70% are not invested in the regime. What happens now internally? Will there be an uprising, do you think? You know, Donald Trump talked about "we'll help you." Is this the opportunity now for millions of people to go to the streets and try to bring down the regime while it's trying to fend off Israel and the United States externally?
As you say, it was only a matter of weeks ago that when there was one of the most recent uprisings in Iran, which as you know, they happen maybe once every couple of years, when those young people that you're talking about, who desperately want change, who desperately want to become part of the wider world, who do not want to live under that regime and want all of the opportunities, economic, social, academic, whatever you can think of, they want those same opportunities. The pressure builds up, and they come out onto the streets, whether it's a spark like the deaths of Mahsa Amini or whatever it might be. Every couple of years you get one of these uprisings, and they last for a week, they last for a couple of weeks before eventually they are put down. You and I have been in the middle of one of them. We've watched the other ones from afar. They happen. They never really last. But as you say, it's a matter of weeks since the most recent one, when Donald Trump, as you say, said, "People of Iran, keep going. We will be behind you. We have your back." Essentially, if you keep this uprising going, the United States will be there to look after you. And that never happened. Nothing happened, and that uprising itself was put down. Now, it may be the case if, as we've seen, there are attacks on the regime. If indeed key figures of the regime are killed, major institutions of the regime are removed, and there is deep instability, it may be that people come onto the streets. In fact, I think you could say it's probably likely. But where would the trust be in the United States to follow through? For Donald Trump has launched this military action. But he's also chaotic. He's also someone who can change his mind on a whim. And if he decides that it's time to end it, and all of a sudden we've come to a deal, or we've come to some agreement that he thinks would either be the one he was after, or might be something perhaps face-saving, it will be all over, and they would be left stranded again. So that will be interesting to watch.